On a picture-perfect Sunday afternoon in Villanova, Pennsylvania, we welcome you to the Higgins Soccer Complex for the Big East Women's Soccer Opener between the Villanova Wildcats and the visiting Xavier Musketeers. Happy Soccer Sunday in the Big East, everybody. I'm John Fantz. Absolutely gorgeous day for a conference lid lifter. For these two teams, they both believe that they could be there on Big East Championship Sunday. They both believe they could take on the dark horse role in the Big East Conference. And for Xavier, they made their first appearance in the Big East semifinals in their program history, and the first for them in a conference tournament semifinal in 15 years. They've been powered by Samantha Dewey this year. She is tied for 6th in the country with 9 goals on the season. Dewey is ultra talented, and when she gets the ball, she is in total control. You take a look at the gradual progression of Dewey, and she came in right away and was automatic and has sustained that greatness. And now, in her senior season, Dewey's put it all together and is one of the best players and scorers in the country. For Villanova, Chris McLean has been able to get an impact transfer from Tennessee. It's Bryce McElroy who leads the Wildcats with 4 goals on the season. And for this Villanova team, they believe that it's conference tournament or bust for them this year. Last year, they were in position to make the league tournament, lost their final 5 matches, and Bryce McElroy leads the effort here today for them to try to get started off the right foot in conference play. For the Musketeers, it's a 3-5-2. They've gone with a tandem goalkeeper system with Olivia Jenkins today on the bench. It'll be Tony Bizzarro, the senior, who gets the start in goal, and they'll continue to go with that tandem system throughout conference play. Watch out for Grace Barr on top of Dewey in this formation. For Villanova, it's a 4-3-3 with an attacking mindset. We told you about McElroy. Someone who really anchors the defense is Connor Huggins, a senior who Coach McLean just calls a rock star, somebody who really holds it down. Also, keep an eye on Kristen Vinciguerra, plays such a vital role. Kristen Barber as well. And for the Musketeers, you see Tony Bizzarro. She'll be in net for Xavier. For Villanova, they will go with Rebecca Gartner on the other side. Bizzarro's put up a really nice slate thus far this year. And for the Wildcats, Gartner has come on with Hensley handcuffed, sidelined with an injury, a hand injury. They've gone with Gartner the last 3 games. And we are ready to go here. Villanova in the home whites, Xavier in the navy blue. A crucial fixture for 2 programs that believe they are Big East tournament caliber and ready to make a move. Trying to start off conference play the right way here today, just outside of Philadelphia. This could be a playoff preview. Chris McLean, Villanova head coach in year 3, said that the first 10 minutes of this game are really going to tell the story. There's a shot right off the bat. This one slides left of the cage. It went off a Wildcat, and it results in a corner. Well, Chris McLean was right. First 10 minutes, he expected a lot of activity. This time it's Xavier, though, who is setting the tone and getting a corner opportunity for the Musketeers. 7-1-2 on the season. Their best start since 2013. A lot to be excited about in Cincinnati. Nate Lee has done a brilliant job. Corner served in. They go near post, and this one not dangerous. It'll be a goal kick. Xavier will apply some high pressure. Villanova likes to go long. They'll try to get in behind you. But that could be a challenge today, considering the way that Xavier presses and the way that they're persistent. Not wide now. Barr. It's fed back. This is the kind of start you want to have on the road in the Big East. Laid off to Jakovic, who serves it in. Villanova was on top of that one. Talking with Nate Lee, Xavier head coach, he said, I finally feel like we're starting to get to full health, which I said to him, you're 7-1-2. Pretty nice to not be at full health and have that record. And he said, yes, but he feels like Xavier can hit another gear as it's sent in. And Richards just blasting that left to the net, but Xavier knocking on the door here in the opening minutes. There's Nate Lee, third year at the helm, taking the Musketeers to the conference tournament semifinals for the first time in 15 years a year ago. And already with 7 wins this season, he's really taken the program into a different stratosphere. Expectations are raised now. Chris McLean in his third year, coming over from Ohio State, bringing in a transfer like McEnroy, and says that the recruiting classes are only going to continue to improve here. He feels like there's a lot of capabilities for this program and that they are only scratching the surface. Taken away by Jane Olcott, the freshman. Wonderful defense by the first-year Wildcat. It's off to Huggins. She does so much for Villanova defensively. Served in by Rosette towards the penalty area. Xavier handling it pretty well, and Huggins called for the foul this time. An active start between Xavier and Villanova. These are two coaches who have a lot of energy and believe in what their programs can be. And talking with them on the phone earlier this week, the passion, you can hear it. And they both said it in the Big East. Georgetown has been the queen of the conference. But they feel like they could be there on Championship Sunday in Omaha, where the road ends this year in Big East women's soccer, and have an opportunity. Richards just lays it back. Dangerous spot here in the box as it's sent in. We are getting an open pace to this one in the opening minutes, and you have to love it. Now here's Shembri into Dewey, who's so dangerous with the 9 goals on the season. She was trying to make the connection with Richards. Nonetheless, for Xavier, this is the kind of start that they wanted to have on the road. Vinciguerra. Chris McLean felt like for Villanova they needed to capitalize early. You can't let Xavier settle in. As far as Xavier's not settling at all, they've been very aggressive. Near turnover now. Huggins feeds it ahead. And here's Rosette. Part of the attack and using her speed. Sam Rosette, the graduate student from the Bronx. Rosette fires, going for the far post, and that was ambitious, creative, everything you want. And while it doesn't end up with the result Villanova's looking for, Rosette just showed us her skill level. Coming over from Virginia, Chris McLean said she's got body, heart, and soul, fully committed. She'll come in and watch extra film. He called her a consummate pro. That's the best compliment you can receive. Just said Sam Rosette gets it. She sure does. Transfer from Virginia, coming over from the ACC and giving Villanova a boost in the attack. Two goals, 2 assists for Rosette on the season. Back in Xavier's defending third now. Great to have you with us, folks. Perfect day for some soccer, and a crucial one for these two teams to try to set the tone in league play. And for Villanova, they continue a homestand on Thursday, but it comes against Georgetown, the heavyweight in the conference. You think about it for the Musketeers on the other side, if they could start with a result They then return home for their first weekend homestand of the season. That comes against Creighton and Seton Hall. Jakovic, sophomore, part of the glue of this team. Here's Fisher, and here's what Chris McLean of Villanova was talking about, that settling in. Xavier is fine with just controlling possession, and McLean told me that you have to be okay facing Xavier, that you're not going to have a thorough possession advantage. It's just part of facing the Musketeers. This will be a corner for Xavier. They're second in the opening 8 minutes. A quick start for both these teams. Xavier's got 5 at the 6, waiting for this corner. Oh, it's in a dangerous spot, and Gartner came near post. That one ended up in the middle of the box. And it will be a Musketeer throw-in. Jackie Richards, the freshman. Instead, it'll be Maddie Thiss, her classmate, a Cincinnati native. Xavier's got some first-year Musketeers who have already made quite the impact. Rosette up ahead. This is where Villanova's dangerous. In transition, what a move by Bryce McEnroy. And the leading scorer sends it ahead. Villanova with numbers, served in towards Rosette, coming from Allison Breed. The thought was there. Here's Vinciguerra from distance. The movement of Villanova, impressive here in transition. Sam Rosette just lays it off for Connor Huggins. Beautiful movement. Huggins looking to send it in, and Xavier just drills it away. These two coaches had their teams ready. They both expected things to get, quote, ratcheted up. The arrival of conference play will bring that. A foul. Villanova will have it here on the restart. Lead referee Nikola Alexic, accompanied by Zachary Rubinich, Kevin Berry. Veteran crew today. A stoppage here, official not ready yet. Villanova's got 3 at the top of the box. Shea Seyfart, Rosette. So an interesting opportunity here for Villanova on a set piece. It's drilled in towards the 6. Xavier was ready, bulleting it away. Now here's Richards trying to find some leverage over Huggins. That's just a great defender, getting back in time and delaying things momentarily. For Villanova, it's been McEnroy and Rosette at the top. Allison Breed joining Rosette with the 2 goals and 2 assists. Chloe O'Neal out of this game. When she returns, she's part of a versatile attack. Really nice crowd here on hand at the Higgins Soccer Complex. Perfect day for soccer, and a couple of youth teams here today to take it all in. That's what Chris McLean wants to build here, a culture and an atmosphere. Rosette, she just battles. The grad transfer from Virginia stepping up. Couldn't keep it, but nonetheless, we've seen her toughness, we've seen her speed. Courtney Langford down the left side now. Tempo comes to mind in the opening 12 minutes. It's been really sharp. Here's Huggins. Fed ahead for Jane Olcott. A freshman who has come in and made an impact from the get-go. Got it sent for Richards. Villanova tracking it well, but it's to the feet of Schembri. Sydney Schembri hammers it in, and Gartner's there. Xavier just one loss on the year, and they are road warriors, folks. This is their 8th road match in the first 11 games. So this is nothing new for Xavier coming on the road. They're fine with it. Terry Lewis. Lewis and Jakovic now. Looking to build something up for the Musketeers. Xavier with the best record in the Big East in non-conference play, 7-1-2. Georgetown 6-1-2. It's fed across for Maddie Thiss. Thiss and Rosette battling. Huggins marking her, defending her, winning the ball. Connor Huggins has had such a great career here. That's why she's a captain. And when Chris McLean was talking about how he's been able to build up this program, he said she bought in from the get-go. She was a player that he inherited. And while this senior class isn't his, he said, I feel like I've adopted them, and they've adopted my style. McLean called Connor Huggins a silent assassin. Will disrupt every player that she comes across, and that's what we just saw moments ago. Good connection for Xavier here. Opportunity if this can get to it. Nicely done by Tori Alfaro. Alfaro tracked her down with great speed. There's the crowd. Perfect day for soccer, and there's the youth team on hand here. Lots of parents and a nice crowd here at Villanova. They're excited about what Chris McLean is building. 4-3-2 non-conference record. A great result in the opener. And the win over LSU. Chloe O'Neal scoring. Villanova looks to go long. Rogers practically intercepted that one, heading it away. This on the throw here. Out in the corner, it's Dewey. Xavier will just look to wear teams down. It's part of who they are. Although, talking with Nate Lee, he said some of our best soccer has come when we've fallen behind this year. He'd like to see that change. Like to see that gear hit right from the get-go. Musketeers starting with a win over Murray State in double overtime, a 4-3 thriller. They fell to Missouri, at Missouri, a 3-2 double overtime affair, and Lee felt like his Xavier side put together their best effort when they fell behind. He said, if we put that together from the get-go, maybe we walk out of Missouri a winner. Dangerous service here. Villanova handling it well. Musketeers coming off 2 wins over Miami of Ohio and Lipscomb. Langford up ahead. It was picked off. Nicely done by Shea Seyfarth. Seyfarth, the sophomore. Villanova with space here in the attack. Opportunity for Huggins near side, who takes it. Connor Huggins sizing up her defenders. She's got 2 on her now. Lays it back. We haven't seen a major opportunity yet, but we've seen a lot of this possession in the first 18 minutes in the attacking third. Good sign for both these teams. Nice move here. It's to Rosette. Rosette wanted a whistle. The official says nothing there. It's a good no call. Now Farrell fighting for it. She gets whistled. On the restart, Dewey wanted to get things started, but she'll have to wait. In the attacking third now, laid in, deflected right away. Langish trying to feed it in. Xavier will have it on a throw-in. Musketeers bringing on Jessica Miller, the redshirt senior from Fishers, Indiana, first substitution of this game. Xavier's been able to get into the attacking third, a couple of shots, nothing to really test Gardner yet, though. Villanova's handled things well defensively thus far. But what Chris McLean, Villanova head coach, did not want to get involved with today was a game that was just possession-oriented in the midfield. He felt like that this could be a match where the first to score wins. That's what Villanova feels like. They think it's a 1-0 affair. On the Xavier side, they feel like they've played their best soccer when they've fallen behind. So Nate Lee said, I wouldn't be worried if we fell behind. I know we can answer. 2 schools of thought. Villanova, right now rather, Xavier has a player down. It's Maddie Thiss, the freshman. So the clock whistled here, and the officials getting over to Thiss. And these teams are actually going to take a water break now with 24:37 left in this opening half. Last year, in Big East play for these 2 teams, for Xavier, the 4-3-2 record, they faced DePaul in the quarterfinals. They got an on-campus playoff game and won in a PK shootout, a defining moment for the program. In an effort to return to the big stage, they were able to get past DePaul. For Villanova, they started out so well, and then they lost their last 5 conference matches. We're in a prime position with 3 wins. And typically it takes 4, and then if you can get a draw or 2, but a deflating end. And all 5 losses came by just 1 goal. That is tough to have to endure. Bizarro just takes this one in. Sportsmanship from the Cats. Jakovic across the field. Sullivan drilling it down into Villanova's defending third, and Rosette in the battle. The foul whistle on Xavier. Big East Women's Soccer Opener. Villanova and Xavier, two teams with winning records in non-conference play, a lot to be encouraged about, and now trying to put it together to start out league play. To the far side, they're trying to find Allison Breed. Yesterday, on Big East opening day of conference play, Creighton winning 2-0 over DePaul. The Blue Jays, they look like the real deal. Off to a sensational start at 7-3. Providence blanking St. John's 4-0. Sam Lopes has a team that can contend in the conference and could be sitting there on Championship Sunday. Jakovic. Right now, Seton Hall hosting Butler. Georgetown welcoming in Marquette. Those are the other two matches going on today. We're here at the Higgins Soccer Complex. You think about these two programs, they've got some similarities in that 2 years ago, Xavier started conference play 3-0, and then they fell off. Last year, Villanova started conference play very well as it's out wide here. Burden serves it in. Gartner dives for it and makes the save. Dewey got a foot on it, and Rebecca Gartner stands tall. Another look. Here's Dewey, one of the nation's leading goal scorers. Got her right foot to it. Gartner took in the line drive and just locked it up. That is as dangerous of a chance as we've seen today. Georgetown right now up 1-0 on Marquette. Butler leading Seton Hall 1-0. Bulldogs scoring 3 minutes in. So Providence winning yesterday, Creighton a winner, Georgetown handling business thus far in Washington, D.C., and the Bulldogs. So the teams that were projected high in this league at the outset. Thus far, that's holding to be true on conference opening weekend. But it is a grind, and when you talk to these coaches, they say that all the time. Waiting this restart here. In the latest NCAA RPI report, the Big East accounting for 7 teams in the top 100. Olcott feeding it back. Creighton checking in with an RPI of 36, Georgetown at 41. These Villanova Wildcats at 56, and Xavier rounding things out at 95. Thus far, Xavier with 3 shots, Villanova with none. Really no great opportunities yet, though. In a game that Villanova felt would be 1-0. That script has pretty much held to be true thus far, just based on the action. It looks like that first one could very well prove to be the deciding one, although we did see a lot of openings in the opening 10 minutes. And the officials whistling here in favor of Villanova. They'll have it on the throw. Some of Villanova's best action has come down the left side to Connor Huggins. Laid back. They try to go long. Xavier's been ready for that. In the 3-5-2, they handle all of those long balls fairly well with a deep midfield. Here's a flare sent towards the attacking third. Falls to the feet of Dewey. Couldn't get a shot on here. Villanova may have something on the counter. Alfaro nearly lost it and now does. Jenna Prothapa, the junior, just laying it back, and Xavier, they're content on this. They're fine with just restarting things. With a long service in to Dewey. Dewey, one of the country's best, and the official whistling here. It made contact with her hand to no avail. So Gardner on the restart. Here's another look. Here's Dewey. Just as she got the ball, it touched her hand. But you have got to constantly know where she is on the field. 9 goals on the year. That's the second most in the nation, tied for 6th. And if she finds the back of the net today, it'll be as big of a goal as Xavier's had this season, and it will be the 10th, which would move her into a tie for 1st in the country. The Big East Player of the Year race could be a really interesting race. You would think, well, team success breeds individual success, and in that regard, for Georgetown, they've been the top team. They've become accustomed to having that top player in the conference. But if Dewey continues this ascension, then that'll be fascinating to watch. Here's Dewey again. Villanova swarms her this time. That's a nice job defensively. Wojnowicz stepping in. Wojnowicz, another freshman. She's from Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Burden. Now a laser down the right side, and Villanova was looking for a potential whistle. So was Xavier to Belcour. Belcour with the contact. Here's another look. Welcome to the Big East. It's physical. Belcour in on the contact. They didn't call it. And I think the expectations from the referees is that that's what's going to happen at times. You're going to have some of those collisions. No need for anything there. Here's Jakovic. A service in. Going for the far post. Gardner came off her line and was headed away. Harper now taken. And Villanova, in a couple of moments, has been pretty dangerous on the counter. This time they lose it, though. It's like a pinball right back to the Musketeers. 30 minutes in, Xavier with 3 shots, Villanova with none, in a scoreless conference opener thus far. John Fanta here with you on a gorgeous day at the Higgins Soccer Complex. It's laid back. Here's Gartner. Making her fourth appearance this season for Villanova with the injury to Hensley Handcuff. Handcuff was really strong for the Wildcats last year. Suffered a hand injury. Tried to play through it against Florida State. And they quickly realized that was not going to happen. Almost an opportunity for Stadler. Now here's Carrie Lewis just feeding it off to Hallie Rogers. Xavier in this 3-5-2, they're fine with the back line and making Villanova come to them. That's the possession-oriented side of them that Villanova did not want to get involved with here today. They'd rather have an open field game. Oh, Dewey colliding that time with Regan Smith. That was a vicious collision. You could hear it, the body contact between the two. Let's take another look. Dewey taken down by Regan Smith. And the official whistling that foul. And for Xavier, it will be a free kick. Dewey is now at the top of the box, marked by Smith. So they're getting to know each other a little bit more. That's one way to meet each other in collision fashion. It's sent in by Barr, and nothing doing this time. Going into the half here, you still have 13 and change left. That said, you're in a position where if you're Villanova, this is not the kind of game you really wanted to get into. You'd rather have open field. You'd rather be getting some shots on target. And thus far, the Wildcats, they don't have a shot. That's going to make the first 10 minutes of the second half that much more important, because it's going to be an opportunity for Villanova to hit the reset button at the half and then potentially come out with something more aggressive. Jakovic. Xavier so organized in this 3-5-2. Langush just flaring one. This one doesn't have a chance. And so Villanova trying to generate something offensively. They've been stuck in there defending third here in the recent moments of this one. Gardner getting an explanation from the official this time. And Gardner into it. Rebecca Gardner, grad student, coming in from Baylor. This part of the transfer wire that Chris McLean's been able to bring in. A whistle now, and Villanova will have an opportunity here. Without a shot on this first half, but all that can change quickly. Some Let's Go Nova chants from a near-capacity crowd here at Higgins. It's Kristen Barber. It's headed away. Now Dewey trying to scramble back, but that was cut off well by Wojnowicz. We'll have a throw in here for Xavier. See if Villanova in these last 10 minutes, well, they're whistled for a foul this time. And so that'll just give the Musketeers an opening here to restart. And it's been a half that Xavier's controlled possession-wise. They came out, knocked it on the door, got 2 shots off in the opening minutes. And while they don't have a major threat, this is what Nate Lee wanted to see from his team. Jakovic just lays it back. Now with some space this time. Langush pushing it ahead, and the flag is up. First time today we've seen offside get called. It comes with 9:45 left in this opening stanza. A long ball drilled. This one out for a throw-in. You think about Villanova, what they've been able to do bringing in transfers. Gartner from Baylor. Sarah Tarabasso from Rutgers. Rosette coming in from Virginia. Rosette has made a huge impact. Kristen Vinciguerra, the senior, transferring in from UConn. And there's others as well, but they've been able to bring in high-impact transfers. McElroy from Tennessee. McElroy was recruited by Villanova and just did not like the role she had at Tennessee and knew where to go. Chris McLean. Belcour cut off by Xavier defensively. Musketeers have been stout. Xavier has allowed just 1 goal in their last 6 matches. Just 1 goal allowed in the last 6. That's a dominant defense. And we've seen that defense here today. Villanova doesn't have a shot in this first half. Near turnover, and it is a turnover. Belcour battling for it, but fended off by Grace Barr, who plays a leadership role for the Musketeers. Barr and Dewey, that's who Nate Lee really likes in the leadership category. Here's Burden. The Xavier defense in control of this opening half, and the Musketeers have put together some really nice chances. Good combination here, and Dewey again taken down, and so we'll have a free kick. Villanova has really been physical with one of the nation's best goal scorers. We told you about Xavier. They've gone 6 straight games and allowed just 1 goal in that time. 526 minutes without allowing a goal. And that is going to, if the half holds, hit the 570-minute mark. How about that? Here's Gartner. That was dangerous. Couldn't get something on target, but a combination for the Musketeers. So Gartner has a goal kick. Gartner's had an active first half. Can Villanova find an opportunity? Thus far, they just haven't been able to get one. That's a near turnover, and it is a turnover. Offsides called. Flag was up. Nonetheless, that was dangerous by Gartner. Ball never left the box. Beedelman laying it back. Villanova trying to start something up. Olcott to Nelson. Now here's Nelson. Casey up ahead to Smith. Can she get to it? She can't. It'll be a goal kick here with less than 5 to go. Here's Bizarro. Nice header from Danny Nelson. Seyfarth feeding it back to Vinciguerra. And for Villanova, they haven't had the chances in this first half without a shot. These last 4 minutes of the opening half are huge for them to try to get something rolling. Here's Nelson. This is Shannon Casey with a nasty move. Casey trying to take on another defender, and that was handled really well by Haley Jakovich. The sophomore has been really solid for Xavier. And this is a Xavier team that's missing Molly McLaughlin and Claire Fisher. Musketeers expect to have them back next week. They'll take on Creighton Thursday on the Big East Digital Network. I'll be out in Cincinnati for that one. Looking forward to getting to the Xavier Soccer Complex. Some great fans over there. Here's Shannon Casey. Now, Jane Olcott. Olcott from distance. First shot of the game for Villanova. It's locked in by Tony Bizarro. Jane Olcott, freshman from Maryland. A defensively oriented first half in a crucial conference lid lifter for two programs who believe it's Big East tournament or it's a failure. They both firmly believe they can be one of the 6 in the Big East tournament and that they can make a run. Out wide. Fed in. Drilled away. Nothing here. The last thing Villanova wanted to do was to allow Xavier to settle in, to establish possession, and make it their game. And for the Musketeers, they have controlled the possession in the opening half as this one's headed to the hands of Gardner. Gardner with the twirling throw this time. Casey feeding it back to Wojnowicz. Villanova in a 4-3-3, and in this first half, they've been controlled by the 3-5-2 of the Musketeers. Casey was getting hounded that time. Coming up at the half, Megan Caffrey will have the latest from the Big East studios in New York City. It's the Fall Sports Update, featuring Samantha Dewey of Xavier. who's got 9 goals on the season. A conversation with Dewey coming up at the half. Some news and notes as well on Marquette Volleyball. First time in their program history, they're in the top 10 in the nation. Sweeping away their Big East opponents this week. They're having their best season since 1997. Some of the girls on the team, well, most of them, if not all, were not born yet back in 1997. Casey with a move. Defended by Burden. Shannon Casey on the outside, and Jakovic eats everything in her sight. She eats nails for breakfast. That's what Nate Lee says. Jakovic has stood in as the final seconds tick down in this first half in this conference lid lifter. Defensively oriented. One goal affairs have been a theme in the past between these two teams. We could be in for another today. Xavier and Villanova scoreless at the break in the Big East opener for these two teams. Megan Caffrey has the latest from New York coming up. You're watching Big East Women's Soccer on the Big East Digital Network, presented by SoFi.
It's time to fuel your ambitions by taking charge of your student debt. At SoFi, we've helped over 250,000 people refinance their student loans, saving thousands of dollars. Now you can pay off your student loans faster and reach your goals sooner. See how much you can save in just 2 minutes at SoFi.com/save.
What is a Villanovan? In 30 seconds? Well, Villanovans aim high. Top 50 National University high. We think fast and stay connected. V's up. Villanovans think deeply, push boundaries, and go, go, go! Still with me? We climb corporate ladders in these ladders. This campus is our home, but you can find us almost anywhere. Villanovans have big hearts and solve even bigger problems, and we celebrate together. Ignite change, go Nova.
Welcome into the Big East Fall Sports Update. I'm Megan Caffrey. There's so much to get into today with conference play gearing up for volleyball and women's soccer. We'll also recap a really exciting opening weekend for men's soccer. However, first, we'll start with field hockey, who also got into league action this past week as well. Two teams are in the top 15 in the nation's polls this week, with UConn climbing back up to number 3 after the Huskies' overtime win over then the 6th-ranked Princeton Tigers, and Liberty also checks in this week at number 13. Now, if you wanted action and excitement on your Friday night, BE football certainly did not disappoint. I was watching all of the games. There were 9 goals in 5 matches. Excitement all over the place as we take a look here at the big winners of the weekend. St. John's, Georgetown, Providence, and Creighton all coming out on top. Now let's take a look closer at the top 20 showdown that was in Queens on Friday night. Belson Stadium was absolutely rocking. They had a record crowd, the most since 2014. The Johnnies were trailing 1-0 at the half, and then they came back scoring all 3 goals in the second as they took the 3-1 victory over Xavier. St. John's first win over a ranked opponent this season. 2 of St. John's goals coming from Nico Petrides. Now, 2 of the teams who did lose in their Big East openers were able to bounce back as Marquette and Butler capped off a 7-2 non-conference week for the Big East, with the Golden Eagles beating Wisconsin and then Butler taking on the 5th-ranked Indiana Hoosiers at the Selleck Bowl. The Dogs win 2-1. Brandon Gould and Jack Hayward come up with the goals. But the real story here was Gabriel Georgi in net. He had 5 saves on the night, including this huge one right here early in the 17th minute. On this penalty kick, he said, "Nope, not getting in." And the Dogs hand Indiana their first loss of the season. And get this, this was Indiana's only their 5th non-conference loss in the last 6 years. So a huge feather in the cap for the Bulldogs as they advance to 4-3 on the season. And as we look ahead to conference play this week, the Bulldogs have another top 10 opponent with the 9th-ranked St. John's Red Storm. Now let's turn to women's soccer. Women's soccer conference play starts up this weekend. However, before we go forward, let's take a look back at some of the really big non-conference wins that the Big East put up, with Villanova knocking off 24th-ranked LSU, DePaul beating number 11 Kansas, and then Georgetown, who was ranked 15th at the time, they took down the 23rd-ranked West Virginia squad. Now let's look here at all of the matchups that we have to get into action this week. And then on Sunday, Xavier takes on Villanova. Musketeers also had a great non-conference performance as I sat down with senior forward Samantha Dewey and asked how her team is going to keep that momentum riding into conference play. The Xavier Musketeers wrap up their non-conference slate with a 6-match unbeaten streak, their longest since 2013, as I now welcome in the Big East preseason Offensive Player of the Year, Samantha Dewey. Samantha, how was your team so successful through the non-conference this year?
I think that we set some goals before the season, and one of those goals was to do well in our non-conference, and I think that we played some teams that we maybe not seen before, and that gave us a good challenge. And I think throughout the non-conference season, we were able to learn from the things that we didn't necessarily do well. We gave up some goals at the beginning of the season, so we wanted to fix that. And I think the 5 straight shutouts were a testament to that.
Last season, your team finished a program best 4th in the Big East. So what specifically are the Musketeers building off of this season that you've seen already through the non-conference?
I think that we have this togetherness that we've really just built in our program, and the more together that we play, the better we play. And so I think just building that team camaraderie and finding that collective energy, building into the Big East. And then obviously the Big East is a tough conference, one of the best in the country. And so if you want to be the best, you got to compete against the best. And so that's kind of our motto, continuing to build on a program that wasn't super successful when we first got here. And now to see where we are and see the growth is just really rewarding and just super cool to be a part of.
And conference play kicks up this weekend as your team will take on Villanova on the road. Sam, your team is 5-1-1 away from home this year. How have you guys become road warriors?
Yeah, I think that was part of the method behind the madness that the coaches really were preaching to us beforehand. Like, we're gonna have a tough non-conference slate, and not only is it gonna be tough, like we're playing on the road, you guys are gonna be out of the bus a lot, but I think we've really embraced those challenges and made it our own, like just coming together on the bus, coming together on trips, and really being intentional about getting to know your teammates, getting to know what makes them, tick. And I think that we've really put it together on the road and done what we've needed to do and get wins.
Samantha Dewey, thank you so much for joining me. She will be carb loading before her game on Sunday against Villanova at 1 o'clock. You can catch that on the Big East Digital Network. Thank you, Sam.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now let's check in with John Fanta, who's got more on Big East women's volleyball as they get into conference play.
Thanks, Megan. There's 2 top 15 teams in the nation out of Big East volleyball. Creighton, who is the reigning conference champion, they're ranked number 14. and it's the Marquette Golden Eagles, a program first in the top 10. They come in at number 10 this week, and they swept away Butler in their conference opener behind Allie Barber, who had 13 kills. In other Big East volleyball action, Xavier, they rallied past DePaul in a 5-set thriller, and coming up this weekend, 14th-ranked Creighton Blue Jays, they'll welcome in Villanova. That's 8 Eastern time, Friday night on the Big East Digital Network. Going back to Marquette, a number 10 ranking nationally, and for this Golden Eagles squad, they know they've achieved a lot. Best start since 1997, but there's a greater goal in mind.
We've been knocking accomplishments down left and right, and I think that that's huge for us. And I think that one that I know we really want as a group is the Big East title. And I think that we haven't won it since I've been here, and it would be a great way to close out an incredible list of accomplishments. And I think that it's huge to have it here. I mean, your home court advantage, you know the facility, you're not sleeping in a hotel, you have your own crowd. Like, it's huge, it's massive, and I think that it's going to be super beneficial for us. And regardless, it'll be a ton of fun. So I'm excited for it for sure.
Yeah, we're excited to host. I mean, we love the opportunity to be at home. A lot of our families will be here Thanksgiving weekend. We need the volleyball community to be around Thanksgiving weekend. In terms of us trying to knock off Creighton is something, we've been striving for. Certainly, we talked to the seniors after we got the win at Wisconsin, and I was so happy to get to see them accomplish that in their career. And then I said that the Big East Championship would be the next piece, as I would love to see your senior class, after coming so close in many occasions, be able to achieve that and let those guys walk out of here on a high note.
Thanks so much for watching the Big East Fall Sports Update. Enjoy the second half of your game.
It's time to fuel your ambitions by taking charge of your student debt. At SoFi, we've helped over 250,000 people refinance their student loans, saving thousands of dollars. Now you can pay off your student loans faster and reach your goals sooner. See how much you can save in just 2 minutes at SoFi.com/save.
What is a Villanovan in 30 seconds? Well, Villanovans aim high. Top 50 National University high. We think fast and stay connected. V's up. Villanovans think deeply, push boundaries, and go, go, go! Still with me? We climb corporate ladders and these ladders. This campus is our home, but you can find us almost anywhere. Villanovans have big hearts and solve even bigger problems, and we celebrate together. Ignite change, go Nova.
It's not easy to get results on the road, and in the conference opener, Xavier has been able to control possession, 5 shots to just 1 for Villanova, and we are scoreless at the break. The host Wildcats will look to turn things around offensively a little bit in the second half as we look at the Big East weekly honors. Around the conference, several high-level performers. Bryce McEnroy of Villanova with 4 goals on this season. And you see Samantha Dewey with 9 on the year, tied for 6th in the country. Paula Germino-Watnick and the Hoyas are leading Marquette right now, as are Stephanie Rodriguez and the Butler Bulldogs and Johnny Kajan, the Big East leading returning scorer. It's no surprise to see her on the weekly honor roll in the Big East. Here's the preseason poll. You take a look at Xavier and Villanova. So if we went off the preseason poll, you're talking about a Xavier team that went to the conference tournament semifinals last year and can fit right in the equation again. But Villanova was picked on the outside looking in. They would like to change that and believe now is the time for them to take the step and be in the top 6 of the Big East, with St. John's struggling, Seton Hall at the bottom. You see those two teams there near the bottom. Creighton has been anything but a team picked 9th. They are 7-3 and started conference play with a commanding 2-0 win over DePaul yesterday. It just goes to show you, in terms of the middle of the league, it is pretty wide open. But until somebody takes down Georgetown, it's the Hoyas to lose in this league in women's soccer. We'll take a break. Second half kick is next on a beautiful day for soccer here at the Higgins Soccer Complex.
What is a Villanovan in 30 seconds? Well, Villanovans aim high. Top 50 National University high. We think fast and stay connected. V's up. Villanovans think deeply, push boundaries, and go, go, go! Still with me? We climb corporate ladders and these ladders. This campus is our home, but you can find us almost anywhere. Villanovans have big hearts and solve even bigger problems, and we celebrate together. Ignite change, go Nova.
Second half about to rev up here at Villanova. Wildcats and Xavier in the conference opener for the two teams. Let's look at first half stats. Xavier controlling possession, and it's shown in the shots. Each team with a shot on target, but nothing too dangerous really in the opening 45 minutes. And the way that we saw the possession get controlled by Xavier said a lot about the Musketeers and their game plan heading into this one. They just came ready to play and controlled it with their style. If we look at the way that these two teams compare, Xavier with nearly 2 goals a game, but look at the goals against average. Now, Villanova's faced a tough schedule. Florida State, they gave up 5 goals, so that's skewed a little bit. And for Villanova, they got quality results over LSU and Princeton. But think about it with Xavier, folks. They've now held their opponents scoreless for 571 straight minutes. 571 straight minutes they've held an opponent scoreless. That is special. The Xavier defense. They say X going to give it to you. Musketeers do just that. Just underway with this second half, and for Villanova, you have to wonder, what kind of adjustment will we see? Musketeers just really controlled it to their style in the opening half. Villanova needs an adjustment. They need a spark player. Minsagara can be that. She's a warrior for this program. That pass, if it was completed to Sam Rosette, watch out. She was really the player who put on a show in the first half for Villanova in the early goings. Had a couple of really nice runs at goal and made some things happen. Go out wide with it as the breeze starts to pick up here. And a foul on Xavier. Villanova will have a restart from distance. Danny Nelson limping just a little bit, trying to walk it off. Villanova will send some numbers to the top of the box. Just one shot on target in this match, but an opportunity here 2 minutes into the second half. Served in to the six-headed, floating up and over. McEnroy got her head to it. Villanova's leading goal scorer, that's who you want. Just couldn't put it on target. And the goal kick from Bizarro. You think about it with Xavier too. Here comes Rosette, who can flat out fly. Allison Breed. Breed was trying to do a little give and go with her teammate. Didn't work out. That pass cut off by Shembri. Taken right back by Villanova. Sam Rosette, 2 goals on the season. She'll win a throw-in. With Xavier, 571 straight minutes without allowing a goal. And they have a tandem goalkeeper system. They've been going with Tony Bizarro and then Olivia Jenkins. And you think about those 2 keepers, they don't want to be the one to give up that streak. Bizarro starting today. Jenkins will start against Creighton Thursday. Rosette with the feed. Olcott could not get to it. Talking with Nate Lee about his keepers, he did say, I need our whole team to bond and to have the urgency to put the effort in that my goalkeepers do. He said between Bizarro, Olivia Jenkins, and they carry 3 goalkeepers. The other being Carol Welsh. And he said Carol, while she might not play, she just does her job. She's a vital part of our program. She's everything we want in a player. I thought that spoke volumes about the program because when you have 2 keepers, you want to be able to still mesh, and he said they do a great job, Jenkins and Bizarro. This is going to be Kristen Barber. She's got a 4.3 GPA in school, and now she's putting a corner in. Smart on the field, in the classroom. Checks off all those boxes. Barber goes short, and that did not work at all. Xavier was ready for it. Xavier is savvy, folks. This ball's just created for some pressure. Shrembry will track it, and Gartner will just send it. So a missed opportunity for the Wildcats on that corner. But a long ball here, potential for numbers, but a foul. Almost like a pick set on that long ball. The official caught it. Now Villanova. That was defended beautifully. Ellie Rogers stood in. Down the right side now, out wide. Well, Presti in the direction of Shembri, but she couldn't get to it. Olcott was thinking about feeding Rosette, but Xavier's Jessica Miller was all over that. She sniffed that out from the get-go. Oh, a turnover now, and the Musketeers with an opportunity. But Gartner fends it off. That was so dangerous. Sroka picked it up and got into the box. That could have been a disastrous mistake. Sroka nearly put it in. Had great opportunity as Gartner eats this one up. So here's the mistake. Just a moment ago, The turnover, Sroka gets it, and Gardner comes off her line and didn't come off too far, though. Just an Adam shot. Oh, that was a gift wrap opportunity for Xavier. They got to be kicking themselves, too. They could easily be up 1-0 right now. Shembri feeds it in. There's nobody home as of now. It's going to the far side. Macy Harper just lays it off for Jessica Miller. Grace Barr. Miller was defended perfectly by Kristen Vinciguerra, who Chris McLean calls a warrior. Sroka. Sroka off of Villanova foot and banged away. We got a good one brewing here, folks. Intensity's picking up. Near opportunities for these teams. Feels like a breakthrough could be imminent.
Entering the game for Villanova, number 14, Shannon Casey.
And Segura on the throw, and here's Barber just feeding it back to Gardner, who's pressured by Shembri, who came up with the pressure and is able to win a corner. And that has Chris McLean upset right now. That's a big mistake. Another look, and Gardner just sending it away. Shembri with the pressure. Here's Grace Barr with the corner. Barr lays it in, it's headed up. Gardner leaps and fires it over the cage. Jakovic got to it with the header, and the skipper that Gardner just fed up over the net. Wow. It was actually Maddie Thiss who got the shot off her head, and Gardner keeping them off the board. Now here's another shot in a dangerous spot, and Villanova just staving it off. And here's the other thing right now. Samantha Dewey is not on the field. She's been testing out her legs right now and trying to potentially get back into this match, but she got into that bad collision earlier, if you remember. And that collision late in the first half. That was a pretty physical collision, resulted in a yellow card. And you could just tell after that, Dewey wasn't the same player in the last minutes of the first half, so now she's out. You're talking about someone who's scored 9 goals this season and is tied for 6th in the country. So Xavier right now without Dewey, and they just had a couple of opportunities. Now here's Villanova with a chance. Bizarro's off her line, and the Wildcats, it's sent in, they strike first! Villanova, Bryce McEnroy, her 5th goal of the year. Bryce McEnroy continues what has been a stellar sophomore season. And just like that, the Cats are on the board. She got Bizarro off her line, McEnroy strikes, and Villanova in a moment of transition, Bryce McEnroy does it. How about McEnroy? What a year she's put together. It's been so impressive the way she's been able to play. And the Tennessee transfer has changed the complexion of this program, and now she's got them on the board with 33 and change left, and Samantha Dewey has come back on the field, noticeably limping. We're in number 21 for the Musketeers. You see her now, she's trying to track down Casey. Well, Villanova said this could very well be first to score wins. They got that part of their game plan out of the way. It hasn't been pretty at times, but on their third shot, the second on target, they score. Here's Hallie Rogers. Xavier needs to respond. They've done this before, though, this year. Harper ahead. Here's Dewey. Laid off to Miller. Now Miller. Xavier with 8 shots on the match. It's to the top of the box and just spun away. Both Butler and Georgetown are up 2-0. Those two at the top of the conference in the preseason poll and living up to their billing. Villanova getting on the board in the 57th minute. Bryce McEnroy, her 5th goal of the year. We talked about her in the open, and she lives up to the hype here in the conference lid lifter. Villanova, the one area in the first half, even though Xavier had a good possession advantage, they've been able to get out in transition a couple of times. And Xavier, up until the point moments ago, has handled that relatively well. Throwing from distance, headed out. Oh, nice pass from McEnroy to Breed. McEnroy can do it all. Olcott was trying to get a foul call. Now McEnroy just causing some chaos with the pressure. Vinciguerra. Vinciguerra laying it over to Casey and just out of her range. Nelson. Huggins out wide. Laid in. Now Huggins blasts one. It was deflected off of a Musketeer, and it will be a Villanova corner, the second for the Cats. So the second corner for Villanova, it's going to be Kristen Barber. She took the first one. She's in some discussions right now. If they go short, Tori Belcourt. Tori and Kristen talking things out if they elect to go short. If not, Barber's. She serves this one into the top of the box. It's Vinciguerra. Vinciguerra fires one in, headed away, and Huggins is whistled. Jakovic will try to go long. It's in the direction of Richards. Jackie Richards. Richards, it's to it. Shot was rejected. Vinciguerra. Miller ahead. Here's Dewey, one of the nation's best goal scorers. Samantha Dewey lays it off to Miller. To the penalty area, headed away. And now that's a whistle on Miller. She was pulling at the arm there, and that's why she's called for the foul. Bit of a frustration situation there. Nate Lee said that it's really important for his group that they don't get frustrated. He said at times when we've fallen behind, our leaders, they've got to remember, they've got to bring us back. They can't dwell on the bad. They've got to try to get us going again. So that's really important as this half goes on for Xavier, because Nate Lee said we've got it strategically, but mentally we've got to be better at times. Ahead, and Barber just drilling that skipper forward. Here's Barr. Dewey nearly got to it. Now she does. Samantha Dewey cutting in and taken down by Wojnowicz. And the official could very well pull out a card here based on where it's at. This is going to be a free kick from 22 out. He's talking. It's a long discussion with Barber and nothing more. No card. On the collision was Wojnowicz, the freshman. And Xavier can be a dangerous team on set pieces. This was a worry. This was a worry of Chris McLean's. A chance to equal things here. Dewey will take it. She's looking towards the far post. Samantha Dewey fires a bullet off the top of the crossbar and back out of the box. Oh, so close as Gardner punches it away. They've still got an opportunity. Now Dewey again. Gardner stops it. Yet another look. This is left of the cage. A frenzy of opportunities. And Villanova keeps Xavier off the board. Opportunity knocks. Dewey off the crossbar. Back outside of the box, and it almost was as if Villanova was still fazed by that initial attempt. Gardner comes up and keeps him off the board. And somehow, some way, they were unable to come out with one despite a couple of really good looks at it. This has been a fun conference opener. The score reads 1-0, but the last 15 minutes have been riveting soccer. Barr's just going to watch it sail out. Bizarro with the goal kick here. And so Xavier, their scoreless stretch of not allowing a goal, it ended 583 minutes. They went 583 minutes without giving up one, and at the exact start of that 584th, they give up the goal. That coming 12 minutes into the second half from Bryce McElroy. Leading this Villanova team and doing it again today. Xavier's trapped right now in the corner. Tough spot to be. Here's Huggins. With a run, Huggins got through one defender. She's kept possession, held firm. She's so physical. Xavier can't get to it. And the official wants a word here. Xavier will move in a sub. That's Courtney Langford coming on. Langford, a senior from Glendale, Arizona. Opportunity for her now. With just less than 24 to go, Xavier in danger of dropping their first match since September 1st. Since the loss to Missouri, they have rolled 5-0-1. Here's Huggins again. Safard lost it. Here's Dewey. Dewey up ahead with a great ball. Jenna Prothapa back out, and it'll be a throw-in for Emily Burden. Still, Dewey showing us her skill level. She is just a stud. Xavier with 12 shots to just 4 for Villanova. Musketeers have had more moments than the Wildcats, but the one that counts is the one that came in the 57th. Now a whistle, and it'll be in the direction in favor here of the Wildcats. You think about the numbers leading up to the second half. Xavier had outshot Villanova 5-1 in the opening half. Villanova, that one shot, really nothing dangerous. Rebecca Gardner's made 4 saves. Tony Bizzaro with just 1. She's only faced 2 shots on goal, though. The second is the difference in this game from Bryce McEnroy in the 57th. Xavier in some space. Kayla Stadler, the freshman, getting some time right now, and in a battle, she loses out on this one. It'll go back to Xavier. Well, the Musketeers have put together some really strong moments in this game, but nothing to show for it right now, and that's the unfortunate part for Xavier. Dewey. Surveying, getting past the defender with a nasty move. She raced past Segura, but that was the only line of defense she could get through. As we've got just 20 and change left now, and a whistle this time on Jessica Miller. Something tells me we're in for a really fun final 20 minutes based on Xavier's ability to create opportunities. Villanova trying to keep that lead. A couple of substitutions now for these two teams. On the restart, it'll be Kristen Barber. Maddie Thiss coming back on for Xavier for Villanova. Tori Alfaro for Wojnowicz. Barber with the service. Xavier was all over it. And Segura, they feed it across. Out wide here, Regan Smith was trying to figure her way through the Xavier defense, and the Musketeers really have not let out in the open field. It's the one transition opportunity that's the difference in this game. Been a game that Xavier really controlled in the opening 45 minutes, a 6-match unbeaten streak. But here this afternoon, Villanova, they've got the one moment. And for the Wildcats, this was a pivotal conference opener. Not that it wasn't for Xavier, but if you're Xavier, you come back home, you've got Creighton and Seton Hall. Opportunities to get home wins, and in this league, your home games are like gold treasure. You have to treasure those. You have to be able to get the job done. That time's becoming a factor, but right now we've got the clock running and the ball's just been in the midfield here the last couple of minutes. It's time for Xavier. They want to make that move. You don't want to have to be stuck late because you might not have your most controlled periods of soccer. As Richards feeds it in, and the header is wide right. Could not get it on target. Dewey was on the other end of it. She's frustrated right now, but that kind of placement is what they love to see. It's a nice ball laid in by Richards, and Dewey just couldn't get a clean look at goal. Through the middle here now. This is Tarabasso. Safe fart. For Villanova, only 4 shots, 2 on target, but they've had the difference maker in this one. It's really been a game that for a while was controlled by Xavier. Tarabasso. Nice turn and move. Beetleman with a great run at it, now in the box, and she is going to get whistled this time on the shove. And so Xavier need to make sure that they don't give up any damage, or this game, as you see, this is a really nice run. Regan Smith on it, actually, and in a battle with it with Shembri, the whistle this time. And so Xavier down 1-0. They've been a team that can come back. They come in today with just 1 loss. Will we see that winning pedigree that they've been able to build? Will we see that shine here late? Because they figured out ways to win. Today, this is the ultimate test because it comes with 3 points in conference play at stake. Now here's Dewey with another great run. She's automatic in terms of creating. Now can she finish? Service sent towards Richards, and they'll track it now. Here's Langford. Gartner diving and vacuuming it up at the 6. No harm done here. You can see the wrap on Dewey's arm. She's got that band on her elbow, which she's been wearing. She had that collision late in the first half. Definitely seems to be moving better here as this match has gone on. And here's Sam Rosette. Rosette with a ton of open space. To the end line, Rosette feeds it. And it is off of a Musketeer for a corner. Oh, that could have been very dangerous. They're fortunate to not have faced a shot on target. Here's another look. Rosette bulleted one in. Could have been a situation that the referee thought about with Maddie Fisk getting in there, but it was close to the hand, but nothing that would warrant the actual call. And so here we are with another corner and an opportunity to find insurance. Dewey just heads it straight up into the air and nothing doing this time. What a game. We really saw Xavier get off to a sharp start, put a lot of good looks together, and they just don't have anything to show for it at the moment, which that's the worst feeling. You've been able to play some quality soccer, but it's Villanova who has this 1-0 lead, and credit to him. Bryce McElroy took advantage. Oh, some numbers there. Couple of instances for Villanova where Xavier's applied some high pressure, and we have not seen anything end up costing the Wildcats. We did see one turnover in which Xavier had a point-blank look. Just couldn't get it off, as now here's a real opportunity. Dewey got behind and fires the shot right to Gartner. That's everything you could ask for if you're Samantha Dewey. Here's another look. 14th shot of the match and the 7th for Dewey. Gartner with her 5th save. Working on the clean sheet. Great defense by Reagan Smith. Here's Jakovic. Macy Harper, who's been a really solid player for Nate Lee. Likes the way that she works and produces. He's very complimentary of her earlier this week as Lepresti tries to keep it in. Smith just sending it away, but this is what Xavier's done throughout much of this match. They've knocked on the door. A service. Gartner's way off her line. Gartner's in a dangerous spot, and if Dewey had gotten her foot to it, she could have had a clear goal. Well, Gartner came a good 12 feet off her line. She was well outside the 6, even came beyond the penalty spot to ensure that she could get an opportunity. Watch how far away she is. She's right near the spot and ends up having a range to her right. So the Wildcats here keeping Xavier off the board once again. Villanova with 4 clean sheets on the year. All 4 of their wins have come in shutout fashion over LSU 1-0, over Delaware 1-0, at Temple a 3-0 win, and then last Sunday here against Brown. A 1-0 win over a Brown program that entered with a top 10 RPI. Harper trying to get to it. Right back to Barr. Grace Barr from distance. This one high. And now time's beginning to become a factor. You've only got 10 minutes left. And change to go from the Higgins Soccer Complex. A year ago, Villanova was able to get off to a really tremendous start in conference play. Looked like a team that could very well be in the conference tournament. In fact, looking back to last year, they won 3 in a row over Marquette, then at Xavier 2-1. And then taking down Seton Hall. They were 3-1. They entered a big game at Georgetown, only lost 1-0 in overtime. Then came back home and dropped a devastating one to Creighton. And that's when things turned. They ended up losing 5 straight. Well, overtime last year at Georgetown. And they'll take on the top 15 ranked Hoyas Thursday on the Big East Digital Network. Big one here at Higgins. Opportunity for Villanova women's soccer to really get the kind of result that the program's been looking for in conference play, but it's going to be a very, very difficult test. There's no question about that. The way they competed a year ago, though, and the way that this program has expectations, it'll be a real chance. Dewey trying to connect with Lopresti. For Xavier, they will host Creighton on Thursday. Danger spot, Gardner eats it up. Carrie Lewis was trying to find her way in. Here's McEnroy, already with 1 goal. Beautiful move. Bryce McEnroy, tremendous move. The shot blocked, but wow. Impressive. Down the right side here, and a whistle from the official. And so a free kick here for the Musketeers. Thinking about where we are in this game, folks, this is a huge chance. Xavier has put up 15 shots. They've put up 5 on goal. They've had 4 corners. They've had a couple of these set-piece chances, but nothing to show for it. Now is the time for the Musketeers, down 1-0. 7.5 to go. Served in towards the 6, and nobody there. Dewey pulled down, and Dewey clapping her hands in enjoyment. She got wrestled down by Kristen Vinciguerra, who's called for the yellow card. So another free kick here. Taking another look, Dewey just wrestled down. Vinciguerra in on it. And another chance here for the Musketeers. It will be Grace Barr who takes this one. 7 Musketeers waiting far post. Just a massive bunch. Barr feeds it in. Gartner shuffled with it, but then vacuumed it up. And the shutout remains. Four clean sheets on the year. Potentially a 5th here brewing. Alcott. The formation, the smooth positioning, the way that this team has gone about their transition, those things stand out about Villanova today. They've been good in transition, and they've got a shape about them. And Xavier has a strong one too. It's just a situation where the Musketeers have not had anything to show for a game that they've really controlled, possession-wise, and they've had a quantity of moments in this match. Here's a bullet sent across. Flag up. Offsides call, and Nate Lee not happy with the call. He jumped up into the air and was in displeasure with the officials on that one. Did not like what he saw. Official talking still with Lee, and it looks like here we'll get back to normal. Dewey's taking a squirt of water while she waits. She's just a workhorse, folks. And ironically enough, when Xavier was vulnerable and gave up the goal, not that she's in a defending role, but Dewey was not on the field for that. And there were some chances early in the second half, some moments where Xavier could have struck. You think about a turnover by Villanova in their defending third that gave a point-blank look for Xavier to try to score, and they could not pull it off. And then just some other opportunities in this game early in the second half where Xavier had some numbers forward, but not having Dewey made a big difference in the first minutes. Villanova wanted a handball that time. They didn't get the call. Now you got 5 minutes left, and Xavier's got to hurry. In danger of losing their first match since September 1st. It'll be the first time in 7 matches that they fall short. Dewey feeding it forward to Lewis. Well, Chris McLean might have called it. He was the one who said this could be first to score wins. In fact, he said it's going to be. That's what he told us. Perhaps he's correct. 4.5 minutes to see if he is. Here comes McEnroy with the feed to a cutting Olcott, who's going to get cut off by Lopresti. And Bizarro will just send this ahead. These two coaches know each other well. Nate Lee was at Cincinnati before Xavier, and Chris McLean was at Ohio State. They actually would share scouting info with one another, game planning for teams. They have another 1-goal affair between these two teams for now. 3.5 left. And a throw in for Villanova. Listen to the crowd. It's been a good showing here from the Villanova fans in their conference home opener. You start this league slate with 2 home games. You can't be in a position where you fall behind in league play, especially considering Georgetown is next. This is a game that Villanova really needed. At what point here in these final 3 minutes, Xavier, right now their back line looks a little bit worn down. what point do we see the numbers just flood? Prathapa lays it in, and Gartner's there to intercept it. A cutting Dewey couldn't get to it before the Villanova keeper did. And the grad student, the transfer from Baylor, Rebecca Gartner, working on this clean sheet. What would be the second of her season. .100 seconds left. McEnroy, the goal scorer, her 5th on the year. It came in the 57th. Xavier has been so stout defensively. 583 scoreless minutes, and it ended. Musketeers got to send everybody forward. It's desperation time as Rosette's shown the card. .126 left. Xavier needs some divine intervention. Belcourt with a beautiful pass to Olcott. How she did that, I don't know. Olcott just in the stall mode in the corner. That's what you do. And they whistle it in Villanova's favor. It's a throw-in. Final minute here. Nova Nation loves it. The Wildcats coming off a win over Brown, a draw with Princeton at Princeton. They were ready for this conference grind. They opened the season with a win over LSU. That was impressive, and this win could be equally as impressive because this Xavier team has a top-tier goal scorer in Dewey, who's in space now and taken down, and the clock's going to stop at 25 seconds, and this is absolutely a card. Vinciguerra with a red card. She's done. That's her second card, and Kristen Vinciguerra comes off after that tackle of Dewey. Vinciguerra comes in here, and that's just a collision with the leg to try to keep Dewey from getting any more traction. .25 precious seconds left for the Xavier Musketeers. It's Grace Barr. Barr into it. Headed. Villanova staving off this chance. It's out. And that's it for Xavier. The clock's striking midnight. The Villanova Wildcats tally their 5th clean sheet of the season. Villanova wins their Big East opener over Xavier behind Bryce McEnroy's 5th goal of the season. 1-0. The Cats take it. A big one on deck for Villanova with Georgetown at 4 Eastern time on Thursday. All smiles for the Cats. Bryce McEnroy delivers, and Villanova moves to 1-0 in league play. We'll be back with the hero for the Cats, Bryce McEnroy. Here's her 5th of the season and the game winner. A one-on-one with McEnroy after this.
It's time to fuel your ambitions by taking charge of your student debt. At SoFi, we've helped over 250,000 people refinance their student loans. saving thousands of dollars. Now you can pay off your student loans faster and reach your goals sooner. See how much you can save in just 2 minutes at SoFi.com/save.
What is a Villanovan in 30 seconds? Well, Villanovans aim high. Top 50 National University high. We think fast and stay connected. V's up. Villanovans think deeply, push boundaries, and go, go, go! Still with me? We climb corporate ladders and these ladders. This campus is our home, but you can find us almost anywhere. Villanovans have big hearts and solve even bigger problems, and we celebrate together. Ignite change, go Nova.
Bryce McEnroy's goal in the 57th for the Villanova Wildcats is the difference as the Cats win 1-0 over Xavier to take their conference opener. We're joined by Bryce now. Take me through that play.
I mean, I don't really know how it started. I think the girl took a bad touch out wide, and I just kind of stole it from her. And then I just dribbled up the field, and I was 1v goal. And I didn't want to miss the shot, so I kind of dribbled around the goalkeeper and just placed it in, and it was, kind of a surreal moment.
Xavier in the first half outshoots you 5-1. What was Coach McLean's message at the break that led you to getting out in front?
In the first half, we weren't really playing like how Villanova plays, and we weren't really being true to ourselves, and we weren't having trust in each other. So at halftime, Coach was just like, we got to learn to trust ourselves, and we got to go out there and play our system. And it was just kind of that reminder of all of our jobs on the field, and I think we did a really good job with going out there and doing those jobs and doing them well, and that's why we won the game.
For you, as a sophomore, last year you're at Tennessee, and Coach McLean said you could come here and be who you want to be. How rewarding is it to take on this leadership role for your group and now be 1-0 in the Big East?
Yeah, it's a dream come true. Coming on this team, it was obviously transferring scary, but having such a great staff and support system with all the coaches and players, it's been honestly just a blessing to be here, and I'm so happy that we're doing well this year, and I just can't wait to see where we're gonna go.
You're obviously different in that you're on this team this year, and that makes this team different. You know what happened last year, 5 straight losses to end the season, and that kept Villanova on the Big East tournament. Yeah. Why can this year be different?
I think we're just playing a lot better as a team, and we have a lot of good additions. We got Sam Rosette, we got Jane Olcott in the midfield, we got Alexa, I don't know how to pronounce her last name, in the back. We got all of these great players coming on the team, along with the starting 11 from last year. So it's just a really good mixture, and I feel we have a lot of good team camaraderie going on too. So I feel it's one big family. I've said that before, and it's just an honor being with all these girls.
All right, I know they can hear me. How about this crowd today? Girls, what do you think of the win? What'd you think of the crowd?
They were pretty hype, My friends are standing over there, they're yelling. They're talking to me, trying to talk to me on the field, and I'm like, shut up. But, it's honestly great having such, a good fan base here at Villanova.
Congrats on the win.
Thank you.
So enjoy it with your team. How about Bryce McEnroy? She's become a star in the Big East, 5 goals on the year, and Villanova moves to 1-0 in conference play. For the Wildcats, they may have gotten outshot in the opening half 5-1, and Xavier held possession early on in this match and established the way they play, and that's an encouraging thing for the Musketeers. But for Villanova, considering Georgetown is next here at home, this was an opportunity for the Wildcats they really need to take to start conference play off on the right foot, and they do that. They'll host Georgetown on Thursday afternoon. Xavier will welcome in Creighton at the Xavier Soccer Complex Thursday night. For our producer, Sam Rubinoff, Ryan McGahey in the truck as well, and our great Big East Digital Network crew, I'm John Fanta. The Cats are a winner. Villanova 1, Xavier nothing as we sign off from the Higgins Soccer Complex. Enjoy the rest of what is a beautiful Sunday.